Don't leave me hanging. It's go time.
Hello everyone, this is Josh. Welcome to Game 2 in a best-of-3 series between EG, IdrA, and Root QXC. This is being played for the group stages of the Intel Extreme Masters World Championships being played in Hanover, Germany. IdrA is the blue Zerg down here in the bottom left corner of Xel'Naga Caverns, and QXC is the red Terran up here in the top right. These guys just played a pretty epic game there on Metalopolis. If you haven't watched that game yet, go do so now, because I'll probably be referencing it all throughout this series. Either way, QXC has to be feeling a little bit down from that first game. IdrA basically just shut down every single attack that QXC even tried to muster, and then eventually had, Ultralisks and Broodlords knocking down his front door. So QXC really needs to maybe try something different this time around. I really like the tactic of the Blue Flame Hellions, but all he managed to get with it were a bunch of speedlings, whereas if he had killed a mass amount of drones or something, might have been a little bit better for him, as IdrA just took basically every base available to him, kept macroing like a monster. He had more than 80 drones by the end of that game. QXC actually didn't manage to kill any of them from what I saw, so maybe he wants to change his tactics around this time, try and get a worker advantage, keep up on bases. We'll see what actually ends up happening. IdrA is switching things up this time around, though, on this 2-player map, away from what he did on that 4-player map, Metalopolis. He's getting Extractor first, which, if you have watched a lot of StarCraft 2, you should know by now, this is the Speedling build. You get gas up first, you harvest 100 gas exactly, you pull your drones off of gas, put them back on minerals, and make nothing but Speedlings for the first 5 minutes of the game or so. This also affords you some queens and another hatchery, since all you're doing is mining minerals after that initial Zergling speed upgrade. After that, you can get a lair, you can get Roach Warren and Baneling Nest later on if you so choose, and you've just got a lot of speedlings available for defense against early Marines, which looks like QXC is planning on doing here with this 2-Rax. Once again, he has not dropped a refinery before his orbital command, so this is not the very standard Terran build. It actually is pretty standard now at this point for TVZ, but it's not the very standard build that you see all the time, which of course involves a refinery before getting that orbital command up, and then you kind of see a little bit of variation, whether it's a factory or more barracks or what have you. But this drone from IdrA does manage to sneak by that first Marine, get right in here and see everything that's going on. Of course, when you see the 2 racks right at the front, you know what's coming anyway. It should be an SCV already here for QXC. Yes, there is, and IdrA already has Lings out to try and defend against any kind of bunkering. Second SCV should be sent along with these Marines. I actually don't see one, though, so this injured SCV is going to be responsible for dropping a bunker outside of the natural hatchery area for IdrA, but with such low life, this is going to be kind of hard to pull off, I think. QXC must have had a lot of success with this on the ladder or something, because that last game just did not go his way at all when he tried this strategy, and now IdrA already has the perfect counter going to stop this sort of thing. And look, these 3 Zerglings are actually killing off every Marine that QXC sent along with this SCV, so this bunker has no chance to make it now. I'm not sure, did he even send another SCV? No, he didn't, so bunker is cancelled. QXC trying to retreat now with his 2 Marines. There's no way they can stand up against this number of Lings, no matter how much you micro them. They can actually pop a couple of Zerglings, but it looks like IdrA has more than enough to actually finish off both of those Marines, and potentially more. Let's look at the units lost already in this game. We see QXC has lost 7 SCVs and Marines total to not as many Lings. Zergling speed finishes up right at the perfect time for IdrA to score some free Marine kills as well on the way over to QXC's base. He's got these barracks up here. Is he going to be able to block this area with his Marines and SCVs? It looks like he is actually going to manage to do that, so QXC defending from a couple of little speedlings there that could have gotten in and potentially done some damage there to that SCV line. Second command center being built for QXC right now, along with 2 refineries, just like we saw in Metalopolis, and barracks number 3 coming up, just like we saw in Metalopolis. So QXC not being deterred by losing so many Marines that early. Look at that. QXC's lost more Marines and SCVs than IdrA has lost Zerglings so far. This is really bad starter for QXC, especially after losing that last map. He's got to be feeling pretty down about that right now. Barracks lifts, let that Marine out, but IdrA, of course, just hanging out outside, wants to wait and see what's going on. There's some help from the high ground here to stop these couple of Lings from actually killing off this Marine on the low ground. But IdrA has a second base up. QXC has his command center about to finish now, but I'm not sure he's going to be able to actually expand over there when IdrA has those Lings hanging out there. Lair is started, actually about halfway done already. Baneling Nest and Roach Warren both coming up now for IdrA, so he's keeping his options open. Not sure if he'll actually use both of them, but it's always nice to have them regardless. Did IdrA see the third barracks, or at least assume that there would be a third barracks? No, he hasn't seen it, but I'm sure he's played enough 2-racks Terrans to actually figure out where this is going to go from here. He keeps bouncing into that natural area to see if the command center ever makes it, but so far nothing going. 9 Marines coming for QXC now, headed to the natural of IdrA. He drops a scan to see how many units IdrA's been building this whole time. IdrA actually should have a lot of larvae saved up. He's actually got none at his main and none here at his... he has none at his natural or his main, but he's making 14 lings right now and getting centrifugal hooks right as that lair finishes, so he has that timing worked out pretty perfectly, as we saw him do that last game as well. Got that lair and then centrifugal hooks immediately as soon as it finished. So QXC looks like he might have been considering an alternate path through the back door of these visibility blockers back here by IdrA's natural, but instead is going to head home for some reason. He saw something he didn't like or just changed his mind. Pre-igniter Hellions not being researched just yet. Stimpack is coming up first this time around. There are still a couple of Hellions building though. Command center now in orbital command, trying to float over to this natural. IdrA has a lot of lings here, but it looks like there will be enough Marines up on the high ground and the low ground to actually be able to finish off all these lings. Actually, IdrA almost lost all of them, but he did manage to kill some Marines as well, so units lost should still be in his favor. Yeah, it's much closer now, but IdrA still looking in a good position here. Let's look at the harvester count. 37 drones against 35 SCVs. QXC not far behind at all, and now with the second orbital command, able to drop some mules. He should actually be caught up quite well. Centrifugal hooks and roach speed both being researched right now. IdrA taking a few shots of the destructible rocks as he morphs in some banelings right next to it. Centrifugal hooks going to be done. Roach speed both going to be done before IdrA actually makes his way to QXC's base. QXC back at home only has Hellions and Marines, all light units that you might note. Banelings do extra damage against light units, 35 damage each in that splash, so if he catches a nice little clump of Marines and Hellions, it could actually wipe all that out with just Banelings. Barracks number 4 coming up for QXC. Still does not have pre-igniter Hellions or siege tech being researched just yet, so this factory really just spitting out one unit at a time. Nothing else really going on right now. +1 weapons for his infantry coming now and combat shields. Looks like these Hellions are headed I don't know where, to the third base that IdrA hasn't taken yet. IdrA actually spent this time building a ton of roaches, and QXC can't like that, as he has no Marauders out and only a single siege tank will be done by the time IdrA actually arrives up here. He's got Banelings in tow as well, so we'll see this bunker probably go down pretty quickly. No SCVs here to start repairing. Banelings crashing into those SCVs and bunkers, able to kill a lot of stuff. Only one tank and a few Marines even left here. IdrA with quite a lot of roaches still alive. They're going to power this tank down quite quickly, and he still has, what, 13 roaches? No, 11 roaches and some Banelings. These Banelings roll in now, and they might actually head into the mineral line. It actually looks like IdrA's just going to wait for some more Marines and Hellions to pop out to protect his Roach army, and QXC suddenly has nothing to defend against this. Tech Lab goes down, Reactor being focused down, Barracks being focused down. These Lings nab that Marine kill extremely quickly. Tank pops out, not going to be able to kill off anything. All these 9 roaches still alive, and Banelings splash into the SCVs there at the end just for a little bit of a nice explosion. So IdrA stopping that bunker rush, killing a lot of Marines early game, just allowed him to make a ton of roaches and head right back into QXC's main and take out basically everything. So not the most impressive game out of QXC. IdrA, of course, impressive as always, but now that's going to be it for this best of 3. This was only the first best of 3 that either of these guys played in the group stages for the Intel Extreme Masters World Championships. I am actually going to cast every game that IdrA played in this Group A pool. I'm not sure what else I'm going to cast from the pool. Probably a lot more, since White Raw and Morrow are both incredible players as well and fan favorites, so I'll probably try and get some of their games as well. But first up, going to bring you the Macro Zerg, all the games that he played from this Group A, so stick around, catch some more games here soon.